Good morning, everyone. Now I and my group want to explain regular and irregular verbs analysis article. Before going to the material, let me introduce my group. My group is consists of 2 people. There are me, Komang Ayu Arisani, NPM 0025, and Putu Yeni Sukma Dewi, NPM 0024. First, regular verb. Regular verbs are verbs that can change according to tense and change it regularly. Regular verbs are verbs whose change comply with normal rules. That is, we add the letter D or ed to the verb first form or verb 1 infinitive, so that it becomes a verb form second verb 2 or past tense. Several things must be considered in the way of forming regular verbs by adding letter ed, suffix, or d in the basic verb or verb 1 infinitive. So irregular verbs. Irregular verbs are verbs that change according to the tense and do not comply with normal compliance. The past tense irregular verbs are not formed from basic verbs or verb 1's infinitive plus letters d or ed letters to form verb 2 or past tense. Irregular verbs form their past tense differently through, not always, through a vowel and consonant change, so that these forms must be memorized by the learners or student. Retention. Tense is any form of the verb that may be used to show the time of the act, and event or state is expressed by the verb. First, past tense. Black sleigh and hog event said the simple past tense is to express an action or state of being that began and ended in the past or happened before now. There are 2 elements of meaning related to the past tense. 1, the happening takes place before the present moment, and 2, the speaker has a definite time in mind. The use of past tense locates the situation in the past without saying anything about whether the situation is continuous in the present or into the future or not. Next, simple past tense. Simple past tense is a tense to show actions that happen in past times. It is supported by Atherton and Becker that this tense show complete past action. It generally used with specific past times such as yesterday, last night, ago, next, and etc. The adverb ago means from now to point in the past time, and it comes after the time's expression and not before it, such as a week ago. X ago or centuries ago means from now to a point in the past time, and it comes after the time's expression and not before it, such as a week ago, X ago, or centuries ago. And the last, nominal sentence. Nominal sentences are sentences whose predicate is not a verb, or in other words, a nominal sentence is a sentence whose predicate is to be. The use of this depends on the use of tense and depends on the subject of the sentence, or plural or singular. Method. First, the design of this study is qualitative research. And 2, data used in this research is the form of verb to both regular and irregular verb. 3, the use of documents for the study has a long tradition in quantitative research. The next will be continued by Yeni Sukma.
Okay, thank you for the time that given to me. Now I would like to explain about findings and discussion. Based on the analysis of the students' English writing composition, it found that the student used both regular and irregular verb in writing an essay of the simple past tense of the context. For the example, the first example of students' writing, they are found that the regular verbs are closed, gathered, started, arrived, continued, visited, and cooked. Those verbs follow the spelling rules of the word with the ending E is added by D. For the example, the verb 1 is closed, then change to verb 2 into closed. And the common regular verb is added by ed. For the example, the verb one is gather, then change to verb two into gathered. While the irregular verbs are both took, ate, and went. Those verbs show an irregular pattern. For the example, the verb one booked, then verb one buy. Next slide. For the second example of students' writing, there are found that the regular verbs are used traveled, arrived, parked, walked, waited, and returned. Those verbs follow the spelling rules of the word with the ending E is added by D. For the example, the verb 1 is used, changed to verb 2 into used. And the common regular verb is added by ed. For the example, the verb 1 is park, changed to verb 2 into park. And the other rules of a regular verb that the verb with one syllable, a single vowel, and with ending in a single consonant, so the verb 2 must be double consonant with adding ed. For the example, verb 1 is travel, so verb 2 changes to traveled, while the irregular verbs are when, left, got, had, spoke, came, and were. Those verbs show an irregular pattern. For the example, verb 1 is go, changed to verb 2 into went. Next, the third example of students' writing. They are found that the regular verbs are decided, like, arrived, departed, and invited. Those verbs follow the spelling rules of the word with the ending E is added by D. For the example, the verb 1 is decide, changed to verb 2 into decided. And the verb 1 is like, then changed to verb 2 into liked. The common regular verb is added by ed. For the example, the verb 1 is depart, changed to verb 2 into departed. And while the irregular verbs are was, took, made, will, and broke. Those verbs show an irregular pattern. The verb 1 is changed to verb 2 into was. Next. And for the fourth example of students' writing, there are found that the regular verbs are planned, stopped, decided, departed, rested, needed, reigned, arrived, continued, enjoyed, reached, rested, and cleaned. And while the irregular verbs are was, when, began, left, so, took, went, built, and could. Next, for the fifth example of students' writing, there are found that the regular verbs are stopped, forged, arrived, and while the irregular verbs are went, was, began, saw, sat, cooked, and ate. Next. And for the last example of students writing, there are found that the regular verbs are decided, used, arrived, continued, want, boarded, presented, wait, headed, and stayed, while the irregular verbs are was, came, went, had, and took. Next. For the conclusion, relate to the using of the regular and irregular verb in 40 students writing an essay. It shows that the student use both regular and irregular verbs in their students writing an essay. Both regular and irregular verbs are the 312 data in verb 2. And in the regular verb, there are 142 data or 45.51%. And in the irregular verb, there are 170 data or 54.49%. It shows that the most dominant verb past written by the student writing essay is an irregular verb. So, next, that's all our speech. Thank you for the time and attention. I'm sorry if any of my words are not pleasing to the heart. Have a good day and thank you.